Welcome to my channel. In this video, I will tell you how you can install Stable Diffusion on your Windows 11 PC. And after that, I will give you a brief walk around of the settings that you have, and together we will generate our first image. For your convenience, I have also added chapters in the description. So let's get started. Stable Diffusion is a generative AI software where you enter some text, and depending upon your text input, it will provide an output image that will match your description. So let me explain to you with an example. I will paste a prompt over here and click on generate. So this is the image we got. So as you can see, the results we get here are quite amazing. Functioning of this application is very similar to DALL-E and Midjourney, but there are few key differences. Firstly, it's an open source software unlike them, and it's completely free to use. Secondly, unlike them, you can locally install it on your system, but there is also an option to use it like a web application. So this is the web application of Stable Diffusion. I provided the link of it in the I button above and also in the description. So let's paste a prompt over here and click on generate. So these are the results we got. They're not that great. And unlike those applications, there are no restrictions like nudity and gore. So you can generate whatever you want to. And most importantly, whichever image you generate over here are totally copyright free, and you can use it wherever you want to. So can you install Stable Diffusion on any system? The answer is no. To run Stable Diffusion on your system, you need a dedicated GPU. To check whether you have it or not, press Ctrl Shift Escape and go to Task Manager, then go to Performance and check the GPU. As you can see, I have dedicated GPU of 8 GB. You need at least 4 GB of dedicated GPU for this to run on your system. And you also need at least 10 GB of empty hard drive space. Also, before installing Stable Diffusion, you need to install Python and Git on your system. So first you will install Python. So here we are on Python website. I've shared the link of it below in the description and above in the I button. First you will download the installer. Once we have done that, we'll click on it. We will also enable add Python 3.10 to path, and then we will click on install now. Installation process has begun. Setup was successful. Next, we will install Git for Windows. I've shared the link of this website below and above on the I button. We will click here to download. This will download the installer. Then we click on the installer, press yes, and then next. We need all the default settings over here. And this will start installation process. Once you have done both, now we will start installing Stable Diffusion. First, we will select the drive where we have to install and then create a new folder. I will call it Stable Diffusion. We'll go inside this folder. The version which we will be installing is called Stable Diffusion WebUI Automatic 11.11. It's the most popular and easy to use version out there. You also get a graphical interface which makes it very easy to use. Inside the folder, type cmd. This will open the command prompt. Here we will type git clone and then paste this URL. I've shared the link of this URL in the description below and in the I button above. And then press enter. It will clone the entire repository on your system. Once you have done this, you will find this folder inside the folder you have created, and you will see all the repository files that are downloaded now. After this, we will download the training model. To do that, we will go to Hugging Face website. I provided the link below in the description and above in the I button. So this is the Stable Diffusion version 1.5 and we will be downloading this version of it. So there is also another version of it. If you want, you can try that out. But both the versions give a similar performance. So I don't recommend you to download the 7.7 GB version. After you have downloaded the model, we will copy it or cut it from wherever you have downloaded this file. Go to the Stable Diffusion folder. Look for models. We'll go to in the models folder. Then we go to the Stable Diffusion. We will paste the model over here. Next, in the same folder, we'll find a file named WebUI user. It's a batch file. We'll right click on it. Then click on show more options. Click on edit. At the top, we'll paste a command git pull. So what this will do, that every time you open the application will update itself automatically. Now in this line, we'll paste another command. And save the file. Xformers command will increase the rendering speed of images by 30 to 40%. I've shared both these commands in the description below. After doing this, we will run this batch file. So this will start the application. One thing you have to remember, that first time when you start this application, it will take 30 to 40 minutes to start. So in that time, you can do whatever you want to. Next time when you start this application, it won't take this much time. So you have to wait till you see this launch text in the command prompt. After this, you can copy this URL, go to a web browser and paste it and click on enter. And this will start the Stable Diffusion application. One thing you have to remember, that every time you start this application, you have to click on the batch file and wait for launch text to appear. And about the URL, you can bookmark the URL because it's always going to be the same. Now I will give you a basic workaround of the application and we will generate our first image. So this is the basic UI of the application. Here we can see the model we have downloaded, but you can download many other models. So as you can see, I have downloaded lots and lots of models over here. Every model has its own specialty. Some models are good for humans, some models are good for animation, some models are good for landscape, and there are hundreds of models available. And every model will give a different result for same prompt. So I will select the same model that we have downloaded. In the first text box here, we will enter the positive prompt. So let's do that. We will copy this prompt, go to the application and paste it here. So this text tells Stable Diffusion what you want image to be. So as you can see here, we want a raw photo. We want a close-up portrait photo of a brutal 45-year-old man in a Westlander clothing. Who has a long haircut, pale skin, slim body, background in city ruins, and other details I have entered here. We can also enter the camera that we will be using. And this 8K UHD, this ensures that we get a high quality image. The next box, we enter what we don't want image to be. So let's see here, we don't want deformed iris, we don't want deformed pupils, semi-realistic, CGI, 3D render, sketch, cartoon, drawing, cropped, out of frame, worst quality, low quality, and many other details I have mentioned here. Writing the correct positive and negative prompt is very important. If you get this part right, your 70% of the work is done. I will be making a separate video and how to write a good prompt. So stay tuned to my channel. So next we select the sampler over here. So as you can see, there are a lot of samplers present over here. And only one thing I will tell you about the sampler, that different samplers will give different results for the same prompt. But as a beginner, I suggest you to use the Euler A, which is the default sampling method. Like we saw in the models, different samplers have different specialty. So I encourage you to test all the samplers available over here. Next, we select the number of sampling steps. So for this particular model, 30 is the right number of sampling steps. So what are sampling steps? So in Stable Diffusion, every image you generate starts with noise, and 30 number of sampling steps means that Stable Diffusion will take 30 iterations to get to the final image. So for different samplers, different number of sampling steps are suggested. So as I said before, for Euler A, 30 sampling steps are suggested. And if you select some other model like DDIM, for this 70 is the number that is suggested. But now we will be using Euler A only. So 30. Next, we will talk about checkbox restore faces. So I want you to take this one. This checkbox ensures that images don't have distorted faces. So if your image contains human faces, I always encourage you to check this box. I won't be talking about these two checkboxes over here, so keep it unchecked. You can set the width and height of the final image over here. So one thing I would like to mention, that Stable Diffusion is trained on 512 into 512 resolution. So when you select this resolution, you will get the best results. Next is the batch count. So 1 means that only one image will be generated. If you enter a number, let's say 4 over here, so final result will contain 4 results now. I won't be talking about batch size over here because this option you will rarely be using. Next option we have is the CFG scale. So this decides that how closely the final image should adhere to the prompt that we enter. It's suggested that its value should not be lesser than 5 and higher than 15. So if you enter a lower value here, let's say 5, this means that AI will take more creative liberty now and it will adhere less to the prompt that you enter. If you enter a higher value, let's say 15, it will mean that now AI will adhere more to the prompt and you will get less creative results. But as a beginner, I suggest you to keep it at 7. Next option we have is seed. So seed -1 means random. So this means that every time when you click on generate, you will get a different result. But instead of -1, you can put a random number over here. Let's say whatever number I have entered here. So now every time you will press on generate, you will get the same result. So as of now, we will keep it at random. For that, we'll press this button. You can see on my screen that there are a lot of drop downs and tabs over here. And these options will not be available for you if you are using Stable Diffusion for the first time. For these to appear, I have downloaded lots and lots of extensions. All extensions have their own functionality, which we won't be talking about in this video because every extension deserves a separate video. And if you stay tuned to my channel, I'm sure that I will explain each and every extension on my channel. So we have set all the options. Now let's click on generate. So we have got the final result. So this is the collage of the image that was generated. So in total 4 images are generated because our batch count was 4. Now out of this 4, we can select which one we like the best. I like this one better, so I can save this image in my system. And this image is quite good. And with this, we come to the end of this video. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe for more such